Hello students, how are you? Good? Okay. I hope my previous lecture is clear to you, which was based on cell is a fundamental unit of the life. So today we will discuss the rest part of the chapter. Now, plasma membrane or cell membrane, which is also known as selectively permeable membrane. Plasma membrane is the outermost delicate elastic membranous covering of the cell that separates its content from external environment. It's called plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is selectively permeable because it allows only selected material to in and out of the cell. It is made up of bilipid layer and protein are integrated in and out of the cell. Small carbohydrates are attached at the place to outer surface of the lipid and protein. Now the functions of the plasma membrane, it provides shape to the cell, act as a mechanical barrier, help in the endocytosis, help in flow of the information as well as modify to perform special function like absorption in the microvilli and help in the cell continuity. After that, you will see in the diagram I told you in the previous slide all the content of the plasma membrane, where are the carbohydrate and lipids are the present. You can see in this diagram. Now, active and passive transport. So, substance may pass across the membrane without or with expenditure of energy. There are three types of transport: active transport, passive transport and bulk transport. Active transport, substance pass the membrane with consuming ATP. Passive transport, substance pass the membrane without expenditure of ATP. ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Third is bulk transport. Large amount of substance and food particle across the plasma membrane. The process of bringing the bulk of material from outside, that is endocytosis, if bulk explosion of material as in secretion or excretion, that is exocytosis. Now there are three types of the active transport: uniport, symport and antiport. Symport and antiport are the co-transport. These are the channels. You can see in the uniport only one substance will enter in the cell at a one time. In the symport, there are two substances which are coming in the cell at the same time. But in the antiport, both substances are moving in the opposite direction at the same time. These are the co-transports. After that, passive transport, that is of the two types: diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion, the process of movement of substance. Substance can be solid, liquid or gas from a region of the higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration till spread uniformly in the given space is called diffusion. As you can see in the diagram or picture, solvent moves by the concentration gradient. Then importance of the diffusion. Diffusion helps in the spread of different substances throughout the cytoplasm of the cell. Osmosis is also a type of the diffusion where only solvent is allowed to diffuse. Diffusion is also help in the exchange of respiratory gases between the cell and environment. Now, transpiration is the diffusion process, and flowers spread aroma through diffusion to attract insects and other animals for the pollination. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma. So, after that, osmosis, which is defined as the process of movement of substance from higher concentration to the lower concentration with the help of semi-permeable membrane. Plasma membrane functions as a semi-permeable membrane. So in the picture, in the diagram, you can see on the one side water molecules are there, on second side sucrose molecule are there. So both are passing with the help of selectively permeable membrane to maintain their concentration gradient or to maintain their equilibrium. Now, how diffusion differ from osmosis? Diffusion, it can take place in solid, liquid and gas, whereas osmosis can take place only in the liquid medium. Second, diffusion does not allow any semi-permeable membrane, whereas in the osmosis it separates the semi-permeable membrane. In diffusion, it equalizes the concentration of substance, whereas in osmosis, it does not equalize the concentration. In diffusion, substance diffuse independent to one another, whereas osmosis undergoes diffusion. Diffusion is not much influenced by presence of substance, whereas osmosis is influenced by the concentration of solute particle. Now, types of osmotic solution. Osmotic solution are those solutions which can cause osmosis. There are three types: hypotonic, isotonic or hypertonic. Hypotonic, which has an osmotic concentration lower than the another solution. In isotonic, the solution which has an osmotic concentration similar to another solution. In hypertonic, which has an osmotic concentration higher than that of the another solution. As you can see in the picture, the direction of the osmosis. Now, types of osmosis. There are two types of osmosis, endoosmosis and exoosmosis. In endoosmosis, osmotic entry of the water into the cell or a system. In exoosmosis, osmotic withdrawal of the water from a cell or a system. When we place the cell in the higher concentration, the water come out of the cell, that is known as exoosmosis. And when we place the cell in lower concentration, the water enter into the cell. That process is known as the endosmosis. Now, cell wall. Cell wall is a rigid, semi-elastic, semi-transparent and protective covering which prevent the plasma membrane in the plant cell, fungi as well as in the prokaryote. In the plant cell, cell wall is made up of the cellulose, whereas in the fungi it is made up of the chitin. Extra deposition of the lignin, suberin and cutin may be prevented during the secondary thickening. A cementing layer called the middle lamella is present between the walls of two adjacent cells. Cell wall possesses small pore through which adjacent cells remain connected. That is known as the plasmodesmata. Now, what is the role of cell wall? Cell wall provides shape to the cell. It provides mechanical strength to the plant. It also protect against pathogen and mechanical injury. Cell wall prevent bursting of the cell on endoosmosis. It also have ability to withdraw a lot of the variation in the nature. Now, does cell wall and plasma membrane are similar in the function? Cell wall occur in the plant, whereas plants in plasma membrane present in plant as well as in animal cell. Cell wall lies on the outside of the cell, whereas plasma membrane lie on the outside of the animal and inside in the plant. Cell wall is rigid and thick, whereas plasma membrane is flexible and thin. Cell wall is permeable, whereas plasma membrane is selectively permeable. Cell wall formed of cellulose, hemicellulose or pectin. Plasma membrane is made up of lipid protein with small number of carbohydrate. Cell walls provide protection and strength to the cell, whereas plasma membrane hold cellular content and control of the passage molecule. So rest part of this chapter we will discuss in the next lecture. Till then, stay at home and be happy. Thank you.